let's dive into the first and biggest story of the day, which is Zion Williamson throwing a ball off the backboard, throwing it through his legs and slamming that thing home. This was really weird yesterday. So yesterday afternoon, the Jordy Collada show, Jordy tweeted like, hey, Zion video incoming, blah, blah, blah. And I received a text out of nowhere. You know me. I didn't even know Tom Brady unretired. Okay?
Still blows my mind.
I'm sitting here like just hanging out with my kids the afternoon, trying to find something to do inside, really, playing dolls and whatnot. I basically got Han Solo hanging out at the dollhouse, trying to get them like Star Wars characters, him and Mando, and all of a sudden I get a text and they're like, what's your boy talking about? And this is from somebody who works inside the Pelicans building in the organization. And like, what's your boy talking about? Zion's he's not even, he's doing 1-on-0 right now. He's not even leaving his feet. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess it's not true. And then an hour later, we see a video of him going off the backboard and through the legs. It makes it really weird, Jake, to fathom what exactly is going on in that building right now as it relates to Zion Williamson, right?
This was something that makes you feel like, okay, well, he's been held back a little bit, and he wanted to get this out there so everyone could see exactly where he's at health-wise, because we've been told something completely different, and he did it with ease, and it looks like, okay, he's ready to play. You don't go Isaiah Ryder between the legs if you're not ready to play.
Yeah.
Or at least be doing more than just playing, by yourself, basically.
Wait, is that who you think about when you go between the legs, Isaiah Ryder?
Yeah.
Oh, was he really?
In a slam dunk contest.
I always think about Vince Carter.
When
he did it off the bounce.
Vince is Vince, but Isaiah Ryder did it first.
Isaiah Ryder shares a birthday with my little brother, March 12th. Shout out Isaiah Ryder. And granted, Jake, he did this off the backboard. Yeah. Which is even tougher. So, okay, again, continue with your interpretation of what the hell this means.
No, that's me, because it wasn't the team putting it out. It was Zion putting it out. It sent a message to me, at least, saying, look, I'm ready to go. They're holding me back a little bit. They're being too cautious.
I mean, what is the disconnect? What is the disconnect going on in that building? And and quite frankly, what does Griff do? Griff is on a heater right now, right? The C.J. McCollum trade has been fantastic. If you look at what he turned the Anthony Davis trade into overall, it's fantastic. It's massive amounts of resources that are winning you games. But this is still your best asset in terms of winning even more games. And the word asset is maybe what to focus on here, because the only thing that you can if you're trying to make heads or tails of it, the only thing is that, why there's no point in saving him for next season, right? Because if he's jumping like this, you would think that there would be just as much of a chance of him getting injured next season as there would be as him getting injured right now.
Yeah.
And so the question is, are they trying to keep him healthy so they can trade him? And again, this is me saying that. Nobody else is saying. I mean, nobody publicly, right, is saying any of this. And I'm not getting this from anybody. I'm just wondering, are they trying to hold him back to maybe keep trade value up? But to me, there is no value in saving for Zion, or in holding him back. If they're scared of getting hurt and then him getting nothing, or the Pelicans getting nothing out of the first overall pick, that's a fair fear, right? And so then if they're trying to keep him off the court so they could trade him and get something out of him, well, let's explore what happens then. Let's say you do trade him. Sure, you get some stuff back. You're not going to get that much right now. I mean, you'll get stuff, but not as much as you would ideally want. But what if he does good at that next team and goes and succeeds? Then I don't care what you got. That's awful for the team.
Yeah,
that is way worse than him getting hurt here and never making it. And if he fails at that next team, okay, sure, you got some assets back, so technically you made the right decision. But again, the value of the assets that you would gain does not compare to if he succeeds with the Pelicans. Because if he succeeds, he changes everything about the organization, right? Not only does the team get better, a team that's already the 9th seed gets better and then becomes middle of the pack West playoff relevant, maybe a step above playoff relevant, like a bona fide year-to-year playoff team. but it also erases the idea, which CJ McCollum is also chip away at, that superstars don't want to be here. And so if there is even an inkling of them holding him back to try to trade him or something, that is absolutely ridiculous.
And we talked about how important it was for the Pelicans to make the playoffs last year. Like we talked about, this has to be a year where you start to see growth. You start to see growth from all the draft choices and players that you've received for your star players that you've traded away. And so you're right there in position to make the postseason right now. And if a player of his caliber is doing that, like, why would you not insert him in the lineup? Give him, look, even if it's 12 minutes a game.
Do a burst limit or whatever.
Whatever it might be. Like, why would you not want this asset, if he's playing like that, to go out there and help you? Like, you don't do that if you're not ready to at least like accelerate where you're at and be close to returning to the court.
I mean, so again, it was someone in that building that told me that he was doing 1-on-0 and not even leaving his feet, which leads, and in the media portion of practice where the media gets to see, supports that. Maybe when everybody leaves, he then goes and does some sort of team drills. But if he's not at least doing like 3-on-3 or something, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? And look, maybe you're a doctor out there and you're sitting back and you're like, wow, this guy sounds really ignorant. Foot injuries are a complex thing. And, you can be able to do that, but maybe you're putting undue stress on that foot and you're risking re-injury. Okay, look, if you are a doctor and there's a medical explanation that I am not seeing here, let me know. But again, to me, the reward outweighs the risk. And at a certain point, like, the risk of injury is omnipresent in sports, right, Jake? It doesn't go away. Like anybody can get hurt at any time. Eventually, you got to play. And if you could throw it off the backboard and go through your legs to dunk it, you can at least be doing 5-on-5 drills in practice, right? Like Jake said, you could do the stupid 5-minute burst limit thing, or whatever. Again, I'll even take that. He'll give you efficient scoring in those 5 minutes. I mean, a time when Brandon Ingram's out and you've been awful that Ingram, except for the nice 2-1 stretch, should have been 3-0. We could rehash all that. We don't need to. But still, like, this just seems wild to me. And there's not a bigger, easier PR win in the world for David Griffin right now than to let Zion play. Like if Zion plays and he gets hurt, nobody's going to blame, well, whatever. Okay, no take remains unturned, right? Somebody will blame David Griffin. But I do not think that is a take that will gain a ton of public support. Like the social democracy will not decry Griffin for letting this guy play. In fact, they'll probably cheer him on. The bottom line, the Pels need to be all in on letting Zion either fly or fail right here in New Orleans. And the other bottom line is that our boy Hold the Mayo may deserve an apology. Remember, he on his spread lines on Monday, brand new segment. He said the prophecy has said that he thinks Zion returns this season. During the interview, basically, it came out. And again, who put this story out, right? That Zion was not going to return this season. And to your point, Jake, this video feels like a direct shot back and a direct response to whoever leaked that to the media. Yes,
this is someone that's mad that the organization put something out there. He wants to show, like, this is the narrative that they're setting. And I'm catching a lot of strays here. I'm catching a lot of strays for my weight and me always missing time and me not being ready. When in fact, this is where I'm at. And you get to a point where you get so fed up and you're like, no, organization, I'm not going to just follow in line with what you're putting out there because I feel like I can do this. I feel like I can play right now. This is a young basketball player who's a generational talent that wants to show, hey, this is the narrative that's been set for me in my career. When in fact, I feel like I could be helping this team right now.
Yeah, and it's and what's also probably frustrating for the Zion camp is that is a narrative that has been with him since day one, or not narrative. That is a tension with the organization that has been with him since day one. Remember, because of the burst limit stuff and him wanting to stay in at the end of games. I remember like David Griffin walking down to Alvin Gentry and making him take him out of the game. So this is a story that has continued for years now. So look, man, again, the Pelicans need to be all in on making Zion either fail or fly here. No trade reality, none of that. To see what happens, and the risk of injury is omnipresent. If he can do that, he's not that far off from playing, man. Put him in the game, dude. Come on, final push here. I don't know. And maybe this does speak to a disconnect between him and the organization, but it's hard not to, like, it's weird. It's weird how much one video can change things, right? Because we already knew there was a disconnect, but before, I think a lot of sentiment was anti-Zion. One through the legs dunk later, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, what the hell's the franchise doing? Like let this man fly. Literally. We'll see. Works on multiple levels because he can dunk and he's a Pelican. All right, when we get back, let's dive into the big NFL free agency news as our boy Dat Boy Wolf on Twitter had to unfollow Teron Armstead yesterday, which Dat Boy Wolf famously does whenever any player leaves, and I'm sure it hurt as Teron Armstead has inked a huge new deal. And we'll break it down next here on Off the Bench.